In today's episode, Stephanie asks, what's the difference from a content marketing perspective between the target audience and a buyer persona, or audiences versus personas? This is a really good question. It is a common question in content marketing. The short answer is who and why. Your target audience is the people who you want to essentially target with advertising, with very specific types of content, with specific outreach, with filtering, anything that you would use in a piece of software to direct a piece of content at someone. So your targeting would include things like demographics, age, gender, household income, job title, firmographic data, company size, annual revenue. All of these things literally are for the targeting of a person for the purposes of marketing. You would use a lot of this data for the advertising, the outreach, and also perhaps to inform some of your content. If you're writing for a very specific audience, you'd better know the language that audience uses. You better be using the graphics and the images and the ideas that audience is accustomed to seeing or that is expecting to see. So target audiences are a very straightforward part of content marketing and outreach. They become especially important when you are doing any kind of influencer marketing as part of your target marketing. So being able to understand and quantify an influencer's audience or a publication's audience or a social channel's audience, even thinking about the difference between B2B and B2C, thinking about the difference between Twitter and Instagram. All these different things are part of target audience marketing. Buyer personas are, or should be, more in-depth. They should have all of the data of a target audience, all of the who, but they should also have a good chunk of the why, psychographic reasons. Why do certain groups make certain decisions? Why do 54-year-old African-American women buy certain products? Why are the SaaS appliance buyers focused on a certain budget level? Those psychographics are an important part of the persona because they help us understand why somebody makes the decisions they make. It's the difference between analytics and insights. Analytics tells us what happened, insights tells us why. Target audiences tell us who to pay attention to. Personas help us understand why to pay attention to them and why they make the decisions they do, which in turn means we can use our buyer personas to guide the content creation. If we know, for example, that CMOs at mid-sized companies are under extreme duress for hitting certain margin numbers, well, then we understand that our financing and the financing we offer to those folks should help them overcome many of the objections that we would have in a pitch to them about a product or service, because by spreading out the payment, we can help lessen the impact on their margins. Right? So that's very much something that would belong in a buyer persona piece of information that wouldn't necessarily make it into the target audience, even though it's something that should roll up into a target audience eventually. If there are, margin type could be in, or company revenue type, or P&L, or financial reporting type could go in the target audience. But the reason why would belong in the buyer persona. You need both. It's not either or. You need both. Where you get the information for both is different. Your target audience, a lot of ad targeting systems like Facebook Audience Insights or Google Ads, or even your Google Analytics data, has a lot of targeting information in it. And it's a very good way, easy way for you to understand the makeup of your audience. You can look at the in-market interests, the affinity segments, all those things that are in, for example, Google Analytics in the audiences menu will help you build out a robust target audience. Buyer personas, much different. That requires real market research. That requires surveys, customer advisory boards, focus groups, one-on-one interviews, shadowing consumers as they make purchases, phone calls to senior executives. Buyer personas, if you do them well, should cost you a lot of money. If you do them properly, they are expensive because market research is expensive. You can't just throw a survey out on like SurveyMonkey or whatever and expect to get the reasons why people make the decisions they make from a representative sample of your audience. For you're not going to do that for $500. You might be able to do that for $50,000. But you are really, buyer personas take a lot of time and a lot of effort. You can do them yourself if you have a research background and you have a lot of time. You can absolutely convene a customer advisory board. You can absolutely convene a focus group. You can absolutely convene a commission, a panel survey of your target audience to better understand what it is your audience wants. That will then require qualitative data analysis, exploratory data analysis, and then ultimately putting together the research that says this is who our audience is, what they want, and why they want it. Don't take shortcuts with buyer personas. If you can't do them well, focus on the targeting and getting the most out of the targeting, because a lot of that information is readily accessible. And for a fair number of marketing applications, it's actually good enough. If you're trying to A/B test some content, you may not necessarily need to deeply know why somebody is making a decision they're making. You can absolutely easily test, does this blog post worded in this way versus this blog post worded in this way? Is there a difference? Does one type of language resonate with another? And you can use some basic data mining from things like social media or existing articles or competing blogs to help you roughly triangulate for the target audiences. So really good question, important question, because a lot of people think buyer persona and target audience are interchangeable. And if you're doing data and research properly, they are not interchangeable. They are very different things. Now, one last caution. The power of artificial intelligence is such that we are beginning to get more one-to-one in both target audiences and our ability to craft buyer personas. So the idea of this meta persona, like Sally Soccer Mom or Craig CFO, are becoming narrower and narrower and narrower and much more focused as we are able to personalize, as we're able to target, and we're able to analyze more data, better data, cleaner data, and faster data than ever before. So we expect over the next months and years for AI to really help us power our ability to do better target audience marketing and better buyer persona marketing. Thanks for the question. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon.
Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.